Terence Crawford, the rematch at 147. Is it a waste of time? What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So, a lot of conversation going on surrounding the Errol Spence Terence Crawford rematch. A lot of people giving their input. A lot of people saying that it's a waste of time. Some people saying that it's just going to be more of the same. I want to break that down, give my 2,000 nickels for anybody listening.
Way he beat him. He beat him convincingly. Once you get a person's number, nothing's going to change anymore.
Alright, y'all. So, is this fight a waste of time? Is this just going to be more of the same beatdown that happened in the original fight? Listen, I think that in boxing, a lot of stuff is said based off of fandom, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're all fans, even though a lot of people try to pretend like they're not a fan of a certain boxer. They call it being unbiased, which I don't understand how you could be unbiased in a sport like boxing. In sports, period, there's always going to be your favorite team. There's always going to be your favorite player. There's always going to be your favorite boxer, whether you like this guy or you like that guy. That really shouldn't matter. What should matter is how good are these fights? Are the fights actually living up to the hype?
No, it's not a talent gap. You just got your butt kicked. It just happens sometimes. It's just like a fighter. You just got caught. It happens. It's not a huge talent gap.
Now, in the Errol Spence Terence Crawford original fight, it didn't live up to the hype. We all thought that it was going to be a battle of the best of this generation. And what happened was it was very one-sided. So now you have the people that are Terence Crawford fans and the people that said that they were down the middle are now teaming up on all the Errol Spence fans, because even the people that said they were in the middle, they're really just Terence Crawford fans who don't want to lean toward Errol Spence for whatever reason. Maybe you don't like his face. Maybe you met him and his breath stunk. Maybe he tapped your girl back in the day. I don't know why, the people that call themselves unbiased are now leaning with Terence Crawford and not seeing things for what they really are. Hey, it is what it is. Perhaps they bet some money on the fight and they won money on Crawford, so now they're leaning more toward Crawford.
That's what I'm talking about. You didn't believe, now you believe it. That's what I'm talking about. That's what wrong and fine now.
I don't know, Maybe it's Terence Crawford's boxing skills, and they feel like, well, all along I knew that Errol Spence has slow feet and, this, that, and the third about Errol Spence. And I feel like Bud exposed these things.
It's kind of like a slap in the face.
It could be any number of things. But in reality, this is the thing. In boxing, there are weight classes. In boxing, most boxers don't fight where they walk around at, which is the first problem. In boxing, I think, especially nowadays in the Floyd Mayweather generation of boxing, a lot of people want you to be undefeated, or they feel like you're irrelevant to the sport. In reality, most boxers are going to lose. In reality, the weight can be a problem. In reality, if you don't make a fight in a certain amount of time, then your weight can balloon up. It can then become an issue making weight because of, fighters not fighting in the right categories. Errol Spence, he was called a weight bully for a long time, and that was because he's a bigger guy who was able to slim down to 147 and still retain his power. Now it's a situation of, I think he's gotten older, he might be doing certain things that are not healthy as far as him being able to drop the weight quickly like he normally could. Or it could be a situation where his body's just outgrown it, Here's the thing. I know a lot of people like to say, well, the older you get, the more your metabolism slows down. That's completely untrue. You have 70-year-old people that can still bench press way over what I can bench press and way over what the average human can bench press. And they can still maintain their weight. They still have a six-pack. Why is it that a 70-year-old can have a six-pack and maintain his weight? Why is it that Sylvester Stallone at his age can still bench press all this stuff and he's not fat? You know, why is that? Why shouldn't his metabolism have caught up to him by now? You know, no. It all depends on how you eat, how much you work out, and how dedicated you are to maintaining your weight. A lot of us are just gluttons. This is America. We can eat what we want to eat, and it's readily available. So a lot of us end up in situations to where we just let our weight get out of control. It has nothing to do with metabolism. When it comes to Errol Spence, you know, I think obviously he allowed his weight to get too high, and or he was preparing to leave the division, and Terence Crawford and them caught him at the right time. The thing about this rematch is they're not going to be able to do that. And I think that's the reason why Terence Crawford is so pissed off.
Who cares what they think? I'm already going to the Hall of Fame. Like, if we retire right now, he's not going to the Hall of Fame.
And the reason why he's downing Errol Spence so bad, the reason why he said, well, we're making it back in 147 because we don't want him to take the rematch. You know, I think this is the reason, is they know that Errol Spence is not going to be caught off guard this time. Now, Errol Spence might not want to make 147 because of the amount of work that he has to put in to make 147, which is the reason I think he stopped working with Blu-ray. Not that they have any personal beef, is that Blu-ray was pushing him harder than he wants to push. You know, he doesn't want to do all that to lose the weight to make 147. He'd rather make 154 or 160 because he has to do less work and has to beat his body up less to make those weights. Has to be away from his children and his wife less to make those weights. So I don't think it's a waste of time. I think it's a waste of time to the people that bet on Terence Crawford. It's a waste of time to the people that were leaning towards Terence Crawford in the beginning and wanted to pretend to like Errol Spence for interviews and all this type of stuff. I think it's a waste of time to people who just don't like Errol Spence because maybe his breath stinks. Who knows? You know, so, you know, I don't think it's a waste of time at all. I think it's a fight that needs to be made. Errol Spence gave Terence Crawford an opportunity. Now Terence Crawford has to give Errol Spence an opportunity. You might want to fight Canelo, but it's number one, not a guarantee that Canelo wants to fight you. Maybe Canelo feels like, you know, you'll move up and beat him because you're a little quicker than, you know, for whatever reason Canelo has, he don't want to deal with you. And I think it's because he knows you don't sell very well.
He just win one big fight. If you see his record, he just beat one good fighter like Errol Spence.
Even when you were with Bob Arum and knocking everybody out, you didn't sell well. Even when you're independent and you just beat Errol Spence, you're still not selling well because a normal Errol Spence fight does the numbers that the Terence Crawford Errol Spence fight does. So Canelo's not stupid. He's in this business to make money now. You know, he's the face of boxing, so the only thing that makes sense to him is higher numbers. If I can get higher numbers, I'll fight you. If I can't, you're a waste of time to me. And Terence Crawford, I think, is peed off. He's going at Errol Spence, you know, for no reason. Basically because guys know that he doesn't sell and they don't want to fight him because he doesn't sell. Your name doesn't move any units, so they're not wanting to deal with you. Is this a waste of time? Is Terence Crawford just the greatest boxer out there and, you know, Errol Spence has no chance of beating him? No, not at all. Errol Spence has a very high probability that he's actually going to win this fight. There's a very high probability he's going to win this fight. And I think that's peeing Terence Crawford off. And I think that there is no backdoor deal or there's nothing backdoor that Terence Crawford can do this time to secure himself a victory. On top of that, Bomac's in jail. So it's looking more and more like Errol Spence is going to win this fight. No matter how people want to look at it, that's the reality of the situation. And, you know, I think that Terence Crawford, if he loses, it's going to bode really bad for him because he's talked bad about Errol Spence. He's down PBC. He's called people all these type of names. Who's going to want to deal with you if you take a loss to Errol Spence? Definitely not Canelo. Definitely not Spence, even though I think Spence is going to have to rematch him again because there's more than likely going to be a rematch clause in this contract as well. And then you got people saying that the fight's not even happening at 147, even though everybody's come out and confirmed that, except for Leonard Ellaby, who said he hasn't even inquired about it. So how would he know if he hasn't inquired about it? You know, he's not the one writing up the contract for those fights.
Well, the contract states that either one or the other got to notify, you know, in writing that he no longer can make the weight. If not, then the fight will be at 47. The contract states that it have to go at 47 since neither I or Errol notified each other stating that we couldn't make the weight.
Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. Hit that like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. But you're more than likely to get a response on the tube, so holler at me over there. If you want to collabo, feature a product or your channel on my channel, feel free to hit my Gmail because it is a flock of cards at gmail.com. We are
I got a plan, better yet a blueprint, 100,000 CDs, trying to start a movement. Mama told me pray about it, you can do it. Daddy told me they won't give you shit, you gotta prove it. So I'm back with my true shit, me against you like a bat against a toothpick. But yet I'm still on my cool shit, calming niggas down when they wanna pop a few clips. And leave your brains on your collarbone. Hey, your ass all gone like Carter Holmes. If you're feeling like I'm fly, you are not alone. But you a bitch, get your runway model on. I'm fly. You ain't never heard a track this clean. You ain't never heard a flow this mean. You ain't never seen a nigga this high. You ain't never seen a nigga this fly. Fly than a set of wings. I'm fly than you ever seen. I'm fly than them other guys. I'm flyest motherfucker alive. Show a player love when I approach her. Bang on tracks, keep my mic in a holster. Your boy ain't missing, but his face on posters. A young fresh nigga, bad as fly as a vulture. I stay around dead guys, try and make my bread rise. Potent marijuana, give me red eyes. And I ain't lying, you can smell it on me. I ain't let the bouncer hit it, so he telling on me. Nigga, run along and tell your homies. I don't even know your homie, I can tell you phony. My guest list keeps some felons on it. It's like my lid got helicopter propellers on it. I'm fly. You ain't never heard a track this clean. You ain't never heard a flow this mean. You ain't never seen a nigga this high. You ain't never seen a nigga this fly than a set of